Shalom, everyone. This is Israel with another Sabbath Day School of Knowledge. We thank you for joining us today. We hope that you enjoyed the lessons that we put on YouTube last week. We have a couple of them that will be going up this weekend, and we look forward to your feedback and what you think about the videos and things like that. But we welcome everyone to the class, and we thank you all for joining us. I am going to open up my screen from the beginning here, and then we're going to talk about it. I thought that it would be important for us to deal with this topic here, the Chariots of Yah. And the reason why I say that is because with all the UFO activities going on and all the things that are happening around us right now, we need to know some things about the Chariots of Yah as much as we possibly can as it relates to the scriptures. Because I'm hearing a lot of people say, this is scary. This is some scary stuff. I'm getting scared. And there's nothing wrong with that because it's something that's not in our reality. And it's some things that we have to get ready to face, especially when they come out, the government comes out and admits that they've been watching UFOs, then that means that we're getting ready to go to a whole nother level. So I decided to put something together that's a little different from the last one that I put together, but how the Chariots reacted with us, what is going to be the prophecy of the Chariots at the end time, and how they're going to play a part in the end time of the Most High coming back on the earth. So I think that we need to know that so that when we do see them, we like the brother said, how will we know if it's ours or theirs? Yah has to make that known to us so that we will know. Because there's a difference with his and theirs in certain aspects. So I just wanted to bring that out so that you all would know. The host of the Chariots of Yah, I have a lot of information to cover. We will stop it at certain points. It's mostly scripture-driven, so you all who cannot see the screen, you can get your Bibles and follow along with us in your Bibles. I do have a couple of pictures, but you won't see those until you can see the screen. If you cannot see the screen, next week, we advise you to email us at the Yehudah Project. It's the name of the class. It's THEYEHUDAH, and then project, PROJECT, @gmail.com. And then someone will send you instructions on how to see the screen. We don't do it anymore during class because it takes up too much time, and people sometimes have technical difficulties, and we don't want to have everybody on here for a long period of time today. All right, so it's the Chariots of Yah, the host of heaven. All right, so a lot of people, don't realize, and this is just a picture that I found that I thought was so necessary, how big some of these things are, how long some of them are. And we've had eyewitness accounts that said some of these things are 2 and 3 city blocks long, 2 football fields long. Those are huge. And if anyone's ever been to a football field, 2 football fields long, those are huge. Okay, here we go. It says, all right, this is 2nd Ezra, and I thought this would be fitting, 2nd Ezra, which is in the Apocrypha, which is the book of the Bible that was taken out at the Council of Nicaea because they felt like it wasn't proper to be canonized for you to be able to know what was in it. But if you go to your 1611 Bible, the original King James Bible, it was in there. So we do read those. So this is 2nd Ezra, chapter 6, verses 1 through 6. And this is what it says in the beginning. And he said unto me, in the beginning, when the earth was made, before the borders of the world stood, or ever the wind blew, before it thundered and lightning, or ever the fountains of paradise were laid, before the fair flowers were seen, or ever the movable powers were established, before the innumerable multitude of angels were gathered together, or ever the heights of the air were lifted up, before the measures of the firmaments were named, or ever the chimneys in Sion were hot. And the present years were sought out, or ever the invention of them that now sin were turned before they were sealed, that have gathered faith for a treasure. Watch. Then did I consider these things, and they all were made through me alone, and through none other. By me also they shall be ended, and by none other. So Yah said, I made them, and I'm going to bring them to an end. So guess what? There ain't going to be no Holocaust, no nuclear Holocaust and all of that. The Most High going to do all of that. Now, that granted, it will be a war. But he said, I'm going to bring it all to an end. He said, by me also they shall be ended, and by none other. So we can kind of put some things to our mind at ease. With all these nuclear weapons and all this stuff, I don't believe that they will be the hand that will take out mankind. I don't believe that, not according to this. I don't think so. All right, here we go. The army of the Most High. The physical nature of flying vehicles is the Bible's description as the chariots of Yah. Jalen, this is specifically for you, because the last time you was like, well, how do we know clouds is a part of the chariots? And when you said that, I said, well, maybe he missed a couple of classes. The words from which chariot is translated means vehicle, cavalry, millstone, which, of course, is known as a UFO. As in Sinai, Psalms chapter 68, verse 17, it says, the chariots of Yah are 20,000, even thousands of angels. And the Most High is among them, as in Sinai, in the holy place. So what does that tell you about Sinai? When we were at Mount Sinai, all of the hosts of the chariots came with him. So when the Most High was up on that mountain, it wasn't just one big chariot that he was in, but 20,000 were with him when he came to address Moshe, according to this. Anybody got question, comment? No? Nothing?
Yeah,
okay, I'm sorry, say again?
Yeah, I wanted to go back to the first couple of verses that you read when it talks about I alone.
Yeah.
So we talking about there was nobody with him when he created all of this stuff.
That's true.
Okay.
That's what he said. He said, I alone.
Trying to make that plain, because I hear a lot of people that talk about there was somebody else with him. You understand? But the Almighty said that he was by himself. Nobody else was with him. That's all I want to know.
Then did I consider these things, and they all were made through me alone, and through none other. By me also they shall be ended, and by none other. So when the Most High comes, he coming by himself to take care of business. And the reason why we bring this out is because, Christianity wants you to believe that it's going to be one big happy family, and it's going to be lovely, and he's going to swoop us off the earth, and we're going to be gone for a minute, and we're going to do all the things that we're doing, and then he's going to come back for war. That's not in there anywhere.
So, I'm getting this straight. He came with 20,000 with Moshe, but he's coming by himself with us.
No, that's what he's saying. When I created it, I'm going to end it. In other words, man is not going to be the one to destroy it.
Okay.
That's what he's saying in that other scripture. That I made it, I'm going to end it. Nobody else is going to end it but me. And in this one he says, the chariots of Yah are 20,000, even thousands of angels. And it said the Most High is among them, as in Sinai, in the holy place. So when he came on Mount Sinai, they were all with him when he came.
Okay.
Yeah, look at Exodus 24 and 10. Explain that.
Yes, I'm on my way to that. You can believe that. I'm on my way. I promise you I am. Watch. He says the actual number 20,000, though vague in true meaning, shows a great number of flying vehicles are associated with the Most High a fleet. So he has a fleet of angels. It says Yahweh has chariots that are cloud-like, a direct key to the nature of clouds associated with the second coming, literally thousands of flying vehicles. So some of these vehicles, like I said, some of these vehicles have the capabilities of doing all kind of things. I've heard of different pilots' accounts where they said when they ran into these vehicles would do all kind of acrobatics in front of them, and then just poof, like a mist, just disappear. They turn into a cloud and they just disappear. We don't have that kind of technology here yet. All right, Psalm 68:33 through 35. It says, the commander-in-chief, to him that rideth on the heavens of heavens, which were of old, lo, he doeth send out his voice, and that a mighty voice. Ascribe ye strength unto Yah, his excellency is over Israel, and his strength is in the clouds. O Yah, thou art terrible out of thy holy places. The Elohim of Israel is he that giveth strength and power unto his people. Blessed be the Most High. Okay, the vehicles are in the clouds, and Yah travels on the edge of the wind. Watch. Yah's army. By definition, UFO simply means unidentified flying objects and can apply to any perceived flying manifestation that is unidentified, just like what we saw earlier today. Whatever that was that we showed you a few minutes ago that's in Los Angeles, it is unidentified flying object. Now, they may call it something from a rocket or whatever, but some of this stuff they're not going to be able to explain away anymore. Watch. So I wanted to put that picture in there. Let's go. It says, what does the Bible have to say about UFOs? Guess what? The laws of physics, they defy all known laws of physics. Supersonic speed. Quatch. Traveling at supersonic speed over 20,000 miles per hour, a speed that would melt any known component. Psalms 104 and 3. The clouds. It says, who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariots, who walketh upon the wings of the wind. So we know that the chariots, the clouds, is the Most High's chariots, and those are vehicles. Brother Jalen, you have any questions about that?
Not at the moment. I'm just soaking this all up, writing it down.
Okay. Because, it's very hard it's difficult to deal with this because we have been living in a reality that's just not real. And because, in my opinion, because they have been in contact with these beings for so long that they have been taking their time year after year absorbing the technology. As they have been learning the technology and using the technology on us and all different kinds of things in return, that there's not as many sightings then as there are now. Because something has happened. There's been a switch, there's been a change in something to the point where these vehicles want to be seen now. And any time that they come out and make an announcement that they have had a special committee set aside so that they could study these UFOs, there's been a breach somewhere.
I agree. That's why back home, there's a street, there's a road that, it's a Charleston Road, and there's a guy who have a UFO in his yard, and everyone thought he was crazy, and everyone still thinks he's crazy. But I guess he has seen sighted, he has saw things in that area, and it's a few people from that area that have saw stuff. He's the only one who has built something. It's something else.
And we're going to see more of it because they have to come. Okay, 2 Samuel 22 and 11. And he rode upon a cherub and did fly, and he was seen upon the wings of the wind. These are some scriptures. Supernatural dynamics. They are able to change direction instantaneously, sometimes at 90-degree angles, at speeds that would autonomize any physical spacecraft. So they are not from this dimension. We do not have the capabilities of doing and maneuvering the way these vehicles have. They are from our dimension, another dimension completely different. Now, we're trying to get that technology and be able to do those things, and they claim they have technology now where we can go out into space and we can time travel and do all those things, but I don't know. I don't know. That's suspect because I don't know. And if they are, it's only a select few that has the capabilities of doing that. Jeremiah chapter 4, verse 13. He said, behold, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Well, my question is that you keep equating. When you say we, who are you talking about when you say we have the technology? And,
I'm talking about the people on Earth.
You mean the powers that be?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay, because we don't have no, we you know, the reason I say that is because, you know, only if we allow those, the powers that be are allowed to develop anything, they could develop anything that they possibly can when they're allowed to do it because they running stuff. You understand? They're not being subjugated to do anything. They you know, to stop their developments or anything. They have the will. I mean, not the will, but the power to do that because they're running everything. You understand? You know, there's nobody that comes in and say, you know, don't do that or don't do this or whatever. They have they can develop those abilities. Hallelujah.
So why do you think Yah isn't stopping them right now?
Huh?
Why do you think the Most High isn't stopping them from developing all those things?
Why do I think that? Is because all of this stuff has to go on. Because at one particular time, he's going to crash all of this. You understand?
Okay.
He's getting all of it. It's going to come to a point where he's going to crash all of this stuff. You understand? He's allowing them to do their little bidding, their little thing. You understand? But at the end of all things, you know, because remember now, he said, now we have 20 more months. And he said, after that, I'm going to judge these people. So all of the stuff that they talking about doing and putting in place and blah, 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 after that 20 months, he's going to judge them people.
All right. That's a good answer. Brother Jalen, you was coming in on it?
Oh, I was going to say it's because we're still in our captivity, so he's not faced his way towards us.
Okay, so if that's the case, what you and Brother Doniak said, we have 20 more months and our sentence has been served. Because we're in captivity, they have had the free reign to do the things that they wanted to do and to handle the world the way they wanted to handle it. So do you understand now, if that's true, the importance of Israel?
Yes.
Is it starting to sink in how important this is?
It's like we're the only thing that's holding it down.
We're the only thing that's holding it back. Because why? We have to fulfill our prophecy. That has to be fulfilled. Nothing will stop it. Nothing's going to alter it. It has to be fulfilled. Now, what we're reading to you now is going to be end-time prophecy that's coming to pass. So that you know that. Jeremiah chapter 4, verse 13, it says, behold, he shall come up as clouds, and his chariots shall be as a whirlwind. His horses are swifter than eagles. Woe unto us, for we are spoiled. So guess what? Not only does he have chariots, but what else does he have? He has horses.
And see, when I was young, I used to think that the chariots were the chariots were not in the form of actual ship because I saw horses.
Some of them are. You're right. Some of them are not. I mean, let me say this. I've never seen it, so I can't. All I can go by in my imagination is the things that I have seen with my natural eye. So what the chariots look like that are being driven by horses, I've never seen it. I don't know. But you have those that are like clouds, and then you have those chariots that are driven like with horses. But I've never seen any chariot driven by horses. Now, have I seen UFOs? Absolutely, I have. I've seen them, just like there was nothing. Especially at night. You can really see them at night. Mm-hmm. But chariots that are driven by horses, no, I've never seen that. So what that looks like, I can't really say because I don't like to speculate on things I haven't seen.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go. Isaiah chapter 66. This is very important because it has so many different things in this particular passage of Scripture. Whirlwind, we're starting at verse 15. For behold, the Most High will come with fire and with his chariots like a whirlwind to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. He's coming with fire and chariots. For by fire and by his sword will the Most High plead with all flesh, and the slain of Yah shall be many. So does that sound like it's going to be a picnic in the park?
Sure doesn't.
It sounds like he's coming for war, don't it?
Yes, it does.
He's coming to do battle. And it didn't say with just the Israelites. He said, I'm going to plead with all flesh.
Question.
And the slain of the Most High shall be many.
What?
No?
I'm fine. Oh, that little boy thing.
I got a question.
Somebody put their phone on mute, please. Hold on. Watch what he says. So who he going to kill? They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree in the midst, eating swine flesh and the abomination, and the mouth shall be consumed together, saith the Most High. But wait a minute, that can't be true. Because in Timothy it said all meat was good and could be eaten as long as you bless it and give thanksgiving. But that's not what this says.
Nope. Contrary.
So according to this, can you eat pigs?
Nope.
Nope.
No.
Oh, according to that, yeah.
According to Isaiah chapter 66, you can't eat swine's flesh.
That's correct.
You can't have no bacon. You can't have no ham. You can't have no pork chops. You can't have none of that.
Now, what do they mean by purify themselves in the gardens?
That's a really good question.
Grove
I wish
worship.
I knew.
Grove
Brother
worship.
Leonard?
Grove, the Europeans and those giants, they would pick a special place. The way the land was created, it had to be a lake there, an oak tree, and that's where the Nimrod thing came in at.
Well, that's where they did their rituals with their idols.
Right. They made their sacrifices in the grove, like Bohemian Grove.
Oh,
You can't eat the mouse. Guess what? You can't eat the mouse either. But Timothy said all meat was good. Everything y'all made was good, and you could still eat it.
I thought he said that could be received. That was received, and I think he was alluding to the Old Testament.
Yeah.
That he created to be received in the book of Timothy. And what he created to be received, we find that in the book of Leviticus.
Exactly, and it was the clean and not the unclean.
Exactly.
So when you see this stuff, guess what? What is Christmas? Monday is Christmas. I bet you it's going to be some hams on the table.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
I mean, when you finish over there, I'd like you to go back one slide.
Okay, no problem. We can go back one slide. There we go.
It says, "For by fire and by the sword will I, the Most High, plead with all flesh." Now, when he talks about pleading, what does he mean by that?
I guess warn. I don't know. I mean, because at this point, the word has already been out there. Brother Leonard, what you think he means?
Same thing that Noah did. He told them to turn back to him, pleading with them to come back to his laws instead of the judgment.
Yeah.
But it says here, it said, "By fire and by the sword I will plead." That don't sound like pleading to me.
That sounds like he's going to give you a whooping. That's what that is.
That's what it sounds like to me. Pleading means at least he's going to give you, you understand, a talking to.
It's the same thing.
Like the parents did. Like the parents pleaded.
Yeah. Sorry. It ain't going to be no happy time. You know what I'm saying? And the sad part about it is we have so many people out there under these religions that have been taught all this fairy tale stuff and this fantasy stuff that people are really thinking that they going somewhere, and it's like you're not going nowhere. The best thing you can do is repent.
Yeah, that is correct.
That's the best thing you can hope for the best. Because, and like you said, this right here looks like he's coming to do some shit. Because guess what? After that, Brother Donia, it said, "And the slain of the Most High shall be many."
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. You understand? Don't sound like no begging. Don't sound like he's gonna beg the people to come back and do this and that. You understand? You don't get no alternative here. That's what it looks like.
No, that's a beat down right there.
That's what I'm saying. It's going to be a beatdown. And for those with the pork chops and all that stuff, you got to cut all that out. We would advise you to do that now. But you know what? I looked at the church today when I was doing this lesson. I was watching the preaching and the singing and all that, and I said, they have really created something that fits to the lifestyle that they choose to live. So they already have this God that they have created that fits to their lifestyle, and as long as they come in and somebody making them cry, and they singing to them and making them feel good, and they shouting and they speaking in tongues, irregardless to the outcome of the results, they feel like that they using the same book, but they completely created a different God.
And can I say something?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, like you said, ain't going to be no pleading. He's been pleading. He's been crying out for a long time for us to return from our wickedness, evil ways, and turn back to his Torah to keep his laws and statutes and commandments. Ain't going to be none of that. Like I said, he's coming back for slaughter. He said there was a time when, he winked at our ignorance. So he's not winking no more. And he let us know that I am a consuming fire. I mean, it's going to be really heat up. And he said it's no winking. This is going to be really a slaughtering time, because now everything that he had pleaded for us to do, it's over with. It's time to go to war, and it's time to do the things that he said he's going to do.
And you know why, sis? Because the nations have had thousands of years to fulfill their prophecy. They done bled over Jerusalem. They done fought over who was going to be on top. They done fought over keeping the children of Israel suppressed. They done fought over whose money was going to be the head of it. And the Most High said, I gave you all that time to have your day. Now is my turn.
Not this time. Yes, man. Like I say, he's coming back. Vengeance is mine, say y'all. He said, I'm going to repay, I'm not winking at your ignorance anymore. That's done with. You had plenty of time to repent and return back to my law. I'm coming in fire, and everything that's in that path is going to be burned up. So
that's cool.
It's time of slaughtering.
And then guess what? They're getting ready to fight over him. They're getting ready to fight over him. They are.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
To the lady that was just talking, are you referring to the other nations, or are you referring to Israel?
I'm talking about Israel. I'm talking about his chosen people. He's one.
But here's the thing. if he said that Israel was going to be in a sleep and a slumber, and that we don't even consider who we are, how is it that you're saying when he comes back, he's coming back with a wrath on Israel if Israel is waking up, trying to get it together to understand how it is that they messed up and what to do to correct themselves? If we're looking at 2019 and our captivity being over, I mean, there are still people, family members, who have not woken up, and he'll wake them up when it's time for them to wake up. So how is it that he's going to have judgment on a people that still sleep or have not had the opportunity? Because I've read this Bible and really put it away because I didn't see myself in it until he woke me up to be able to know what I'm supposed to be doing. So how is that righteous?
I'm going to give you an answer to that right now.
All right, everybody, take a deep breath. Hold on, because I know everybody wants. Brother Donnell, let the sister answer it, and then you come in, then Brother Leonard, and I know everybody want to talk. Okay, sis, go ahead. She want to know how is that righteous.
Well, I'm going to get a short and brief what I feel, because like I said, he's not waking up everybody at the same time. Some people is not going to be awakened, I don't believe. And I also think that he has given us opportunities and chances at that to, but many people still, as they did back in the past, they're still rejecting him. He still may be nudging at certain people, but they don't want to hear it. They turn in a deaf ear, and they continue to do that because nothing has changed. There's nothing new. So we continue to live in a rebellious people, even though plenty still sleep. But he still knows and nudging people as of this day, and they just continue to want to reject him.
All right, Brother Donia?
Okay, I'm going to make this quick, and, it says those people that reject my laws, their prayers will be an abomination unto me. Now, one other thing is always to be mentioned, that we had 20 months. Inside, this is opinion from that I have come to understand, is that we got 20 months. We have an opportunity to come back to the Almighty. The door's open. You understand? You understand? You got, you must repent for your sins, and you must repent. You understand? And if that opportunity presents itself, you understand, ignorance of the law is no excuse. You understand? After those 20 months, the Almighty, from my perspective only, you understand, will and has chosen the ones that he wants to come back to him. And it's only going to be a remnant. That's just my opinion.
Exactly.
All right, Brother Leonard, you have anything, and then I'm going to answer. Brother Leonard, anybody else?
Well, if you line upon line, precept upon precept, if you start out with Malachi, he says that he's going to send Elijah first, and then Elijah's going to take the children back to the father. So we the children. So who are the fathers? Who is our father? Ezekiel 37. And then he says that just now you just read he's going to plead with them with fire. So my question is, what fire? So when you go to Zachariah tells you that the house of David going to be as fire, and David going to be as the angel of the Lord. And so then he raised up an army, right? Let me read this verse right quick. It's going to take about 5 verses. Then Joel chapter 2. He says, blow ye a trumpet in Zion and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord cometh, for it is nigh at hand. A day of darkness, of gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains. A great people and strong, there have not been ever like, neither shall any more after it, even to the years of many generations. Now here we go. 3, a fire devoured before them. Who is the them? That's Ezekiel 37. And behind them a flame burning, and the land is as the garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. I'm going to show you this. Hold up on me. I'm going to show you this Ezekiel 37. Yea, and nothing shall escape them. The appearance of them is as appearance of horses, as horsemen, so shall they run. Like the noise of a chariot on the top of a mountain shall they leap. Like the noise of a flame of fire that devours the stubble, and as strong people set in a battle array. Before their face, the people shall be much pain. All faces shall gather blackness. They shall run like mighty men. That's what he tells you in Zechariah. They shall clamber on the walls like men of war. They shall march everyone in his way, and they shall not break their ranks. That's an army. That's the army that's in Ezekiel 37. That's who's going to deliver us.
Okay, now let me say this. Everybody is absolutely correct, but, Sister Dawida, this is the issue. We were only awakened by the Most High. He was the only one who woke us up. We didn't wake up ourselves. We didn't see it ourselves. He said blindness in part has happened unto Israel in the book of Romans. The thing is this is the issue, is understanding that we have 20 months left until the sentence is served doesn't necessarily mean that the people who are asleep have to wake up in those 20 months. Once we've completed our sentence, those that are chosen, the elect and the very elect are the ones who are awake now. As we begin to preach the gospel of the kingdom and the things that are coming, they will be awakened in their own season right before we get ready to leave up out of here. Now, this is the issue, and I was just talking about this with Sister Levia. The problem with that is going to be is right now what we're doing is we're laying the groundwork. And as you guys begin to wake up, you get to go through all the emotions that come with that. We get to sit down and we get to talk about all of the things that we suffer with in being woke and understanding what this is all about. When they wake up, they have to make a decision. There will be no whole lot of, we understand. No, are you coming or not? Now, why they are still asleep, I have no idea. All I can do is thank the Most High that he found me worthy to wake me up at the time that I was awake. But the thing about this is there's not going to be a whole lot of information in terms of, why we got to do this? Well, how long are we going to stay? Well, where are we going? That's why we put all this information on YouTube. They have the information there. You guys are on this call. You're taking notes. You're trying to tell your family, even though they're not woke, we're going to the wilderness. We're on our way to the wilderness. Well, what's the wilderness? Go to the YouTube clip and watch it and understand the different phases that's going to go through while we're at the wilderness. Even though they don't have the information, they don't have the consciousness to be woke, they still getting the information.
Right.
So when the time comes, it's going to be like, because we don't have to make the same choice. And the thing, just because you know in advance don't make the choice any easier. But some of us gonna have to leave our family members and get on that boat and leave, and that's gonna be very difficult. However we get there, we're gonna have to leave our family members and say, "Well, I hope you make it in the second or the third wave, but I'm out of here because I can't stay. I know what you're getting ready to go through. I know what you're going to endure." And some people going to stay around and try to protect their children through it. And some of their very children are going to turn on them.
Just enough will.
So we just have to pray, that we get this information out there so they know when the time comes. We can continue to move forward with what we have to tell them. Because by that time, when the Most High comes, if you don't have it by then, it's curtains. Because some people don't want to stop. They don't want to stop.
They don't want to.
People don't want to stop their lifestyle. They don't want to stop doing the drugs. They don't want to stop gangbanging. They don't want to stop whoremongering. They don't want to stop same-section. They don't want to stop all that. That's why I said when I looked at the church, I was like, wow, they have created something that caters to their lifestyle. They created a whole other God that says it's okay, you can do all that stuff. All you got to do is repent, and he'll forgive you. And if you do it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, he'll forgive you over and over and over and over and over again. And it's like, no, you are really going to be in for a rude awakening.
So it look like that the church, like I said, the church is going to be really taking for a rude awakening. Like I said, a lot of things that goes on in the church, and they're participating in, and it's something that it's just, like you said, they don't want to quit. They don't want to give it up. You know, they are under medication, like, you know, they numbing themselves where they can't feel anything. But it's going to hit them really hard.
They want to put up the Christmas tree.
They want to do
Christmas tree. They got the Christmas tree in the church.
They sure do. They got to, y'all.
How ironic is that? You got, wait a minute. You got a pagan symbol that is identified as a pagan symbol. In Jeremiah chapter 10, it's identified as a pagan symbol. It tells you, decorating it with all kind of stuff on it, and they have it sitting in the building that is supposed to be dedicated to the God of the Old Testament.
I have a
comment. Those that reject my laws, their prayers will be an abomination.
Right. And they have, like I said, they have made his house a house of, you know, a den of thieves. They done come in there and did everything unclean, and you know, they done profane within the church now.
They don't want to stop. Somebody said, I have a question. Who was that?
No, this is Trinice. When you were talking about the Christmas tree being in the church, and my mother's going to church right now, and I'm talking to her about this stuff, and she's listening to some things, but I mean, just so she took a picture of my nephew at the church, and I'm seeing the Christmas tree, and they have a miniature Santa Claus in the church.
Come on, sis.
In the church. In the church. And also, when you guys are talking about, you know, you got to let some family members go. And, you know, I live in Florida, and we had the Hurricane Irma not too long ago. And my family was all here at my house, and we were all together during that time, and I'm talking to them, and my uncle's telling me, you got to have a Jesus moment. You couldn't call on Jesus yet. That's the only name that you can call on. There's no other name. If you're going through the Bible, and all my Bible say is Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. I don't know what you're reading. You must be in the cult. And I'm trying to talk to them, and he's telling me Adam was black and Eve was white, and this is why we all feel like this. And I mean, this may just shut you out of everything. So, I mean, talking to my family, I had to just learn that, you know what? And I see not everybody's going to make it. You want to make it. You want everybody to make it. You want to see your family saved. You want to see everybody go where we're going. But you have to just learn to let some things go. I plant the seed. Hopefully they'll hear it later. If not, or they receive it at least. If not, then that's it. That's all I wanted to say.
And you know what? Even with that, and I know how frustrated you are, and what I can hear it, but at the same time, their eyes are not open. And, you know, with the whole Jesus thing, what I tell them, like the brother told the Jehovah's Witness that came to his house, he said the same thing. Well, Jesus is the way. He said, well, that can't be in no other name will you be saved. He said, well, what? No, he said, the J only came out in 16, what did he say was 16, 32? He said, well, what was they calling him in 1631? So when it don't add up, it ain't true. When it don't make sense, it's not true. But because they've had 400 years, we 20 months away from 400 years, they have had 398 some odd years of this indoctrination. This is all they know. And this is what makes them feel good, and this is what takes away the burden of being on the bottom. And that's all I can call church is an alternative to the burden of being on the bottom, because when they walk into that place, they sing them happy, they shout them happy, they speak in tongues and be happy, and then when they come out, they still on the same bottom they was in when they walked in there. And they're going to stay on the bottom until the Most High changes this thing around. But it gives them a sense of everything going to be all right. All I got to do is just trust. And if I hold on long enough, it's going to change. No, it's not going to change until the Most High say it's going to change. But their eyes are not open. The best thing you can do is pray for them.
Trouble going to be real.
Yes, it is.
And
go ahead.
And like you said,
I see a lot of people, Israelites, getting frustrated when it comes to that. But if the Most High plant a seed, the seed is going to blossom.
Yes,
he also says that when we start waking up in Isaiah 44, 1 through 5, that they was going to wake up one at a time like willows by a water course.
Mm-hmm.
And so all you have to do is look at a field. First, you start seeing one flower here, a flower there, and then you come by a couple of weeks later and the whole field full of flowers. Mm-hmm. So it's not that the Most High ain't going to wake them up. It's just that they're waking up right now one by one.
Right. That's right.
And the seed that you plant, it's gonna germinate. You just don't know. The Most High gonna germinate when He get ready to germinate.
Right, and we don't want them all woke right now. Can you imagine what a mess it would be if everybody was woke? It's already a mess now with the remnant woke.
Right.
You got to weed so much to be able to get a sound teaching somewhere with the remnant being woke.
Right.
So He has a way of doing it, and we just have to let Him. Okay, now let's get back to the lesson. Sound barriers. This is one of the things that happens with these vehicles too. They are never any sonic booms from breaking the sound barrier. They don't make no noise. They real quiet. They ease in. The one man said he was standing outside and looked up, and one was up over him. He didn't even know it was up over him because they don't make no sound. It says no radar detection. It's invisible to any radar detector, accelerating and decelerating speed instantaneously, invisible to the natural eye.
Right.
This is the vehicles that we are dealing with. Characteristics is differences in size, shape, and color. Some are large and small. Some are round. Some oblong. Some shaped like cigars. They're cigar shaped. Some have horses and some don't. This is what's going on in the hemisphere. Now Zachariah saw 4 chariots. We're going to Zechariah chapter 6. And we go into verse 1 through 8. He said, I turned and lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, there came 4 chariots out from between 2 mountains. And the mountains were mountains of brass. Now, he was having a vision. He said, in the first chariot were red horses. And in the second chariot was black horses. And in the third chariot, white horses. And in the fourth chariot, grizzly and bay horses. Then I answered and said unto the angel that talked with me, what are these, my Lord? And the angel answered and said unto me, these are the 4 spirits of heaven which go forth from standing before the Most High of all the earth. And the black horses which are therein go forth into the north country, and the white go forth after them, and the grizzly go forth toward the south country, and the bay went forth and sought to go, that they may walk to and fro through the earth. And he said, get ye hence, walk to and fro through the earth. So they walked to and fro through the earth. Then cried he upon me and spake unto me, saying, behold, these that go toward the north country have quieted my spirit in the north country. Now, I wanted to know what it was. I was like, what in the world was this about Zachariah's interpretation? And Brother Leonard, you can help, and Brother Doniah, whoever else. It says, Zachariah sees 4 horses of different colors pulling 4 chariots. They quickly run through the entire earth, with the result that Yah's spirit has rest. It says, this vision represents a judgment upon the enemies of Israel. After judgment, God's wrath will be appeased and rest will ensue.
Okay.
All right. Now, any questions about that? Because we're on our way to judgment now. Why did you say that, Guyana? Because we're on our way to judgment now, because that was the prophecy. Genesis chapter 15 said that we was going to be in a strange land that wasn't ours, and that we were going to serve them for 400 years, which will be over with in August 20th of 2019, and that we was going to see the judgment of that nation, and afterwards we was going to come out with great substance.
All right.
So now what are we seeing? What did he say? The Chinese is trying to take over the petrodollar. That will kill our economy right there. We're seeing all kind of UFO activity in America, all over the world. Basically, we're seeing it for real. They're getting ready to announce that we've been here for 400 years. I mean, look at how the prophecies is fulfilling themselves. Russia is in here, taking over. We got foreign troops on American soil. We got the UN police in Chicago.
Yep.
Right.
I mean, you would have to literally be blind not to see this stuff.
This Almighty, he ain't Didn't the Almighty say He's gonna unfold this stuff right before our eyes?
That's right.
Everything
is lining up.
Okay. Still, when we talk to our families, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying that everything now, like we're seeing, so much is happening and it's unfolding quickly because it's lining up with prophecy. Like I said, He's on His way back here. So it's all coming. It's all happening. It's all happening so quickly.
Yeah, they got armies ready to fight outside the universe for a coming and upcoming threat coming from the universe. I mean, they recruiting people to fight outside the out in space. Sister what is your Hebrew name again? I'm gonna remember it. Tabara.
Okay, Tabara. There you go. Perfect. There you go, Tabara. What I was thinking, it amazes me. I've been talking to my friends and my family about this, and I've noticed that they still don't pull it together. It's like no urgency, they're not, it's just regular day as usual. I'm like, wow, they don't really realize how serious this is.
So they see one ship, just one. So I was going to take this one.
Most of the time, the reason that we can't see it is because we've been indoctrinated for 4,000 years. It's hard for us to snap out of this stuff that's happening right before our eyes. You understand? This country has been into a lot of different things, and they bounce back, and blah blah blah. So of course it's hard, it's difficult to see, especially that. We're charting unseen waters. We're going to be charting unseen waters, waters that have not, ideas and concepts that we have never seen before. We know what this is.
Right. That is true. That is so very true. And unfortunately, they will not wake up until the Most High see it. They will not. Guess what? Some people ain't going to get on board until their 401k is gone because they have just that much security in the system. Some people on this phone feel like that. I'm fine. I have my 401k. I'm retired. I'm living in my house. Things are going perfect. And then when all the bottom fall out of it, then the Most High will get their attention. But it's people on this phone right now that feel like that.
That's
and it's like easy come, easy go. That can be gone in the drop of a bucket.
We charting unseen waters, man. We ain't never seen. We can't even imagine being under the governance of the Almighty. You understand? We cannot imagine it. It's hard. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Yeah, my 401k already gone. They done been ate up so bad in the past couple of weeks. I just figure it's a wash. It ain't even no point. It ain't even no point in looking at it. I don't even look at it no more. I get them little papers in the mail. I shred it. I'm gone about my business. Like, well,
for real. They really have. Some people have their mind set up on this system, that this system is going to work, and this system has made them who they are. And a lot of people are going to take the mark so that they can keep their lifestyle the same. I'm telling y'all what I know.
I believe it.
This society has defined them.
Yeah.
You understand? Without this society, you understand, they don't know what they would have been.
Yeah.
That is very true.
Especially the folks with money, especially ones with lots and lots of money. Yeah.
They the ones going to lose out the most. It's going to be like, wait a minute, hold on, I ain't used to being poor. Now, what do you mean? Yeah, I didn't sign up for all this. But that's unfortunately, you're going to have to, we're not going to be poor leaving here. We're going to have to get it the way the Most High give it to us. But when you put their stock in this system, because they're going to tear this system down. They're just going to tear it down.
Right.
All right, let me keep going. The chariots and the horses of fire. So we know they have horses of fire and chariots, 2 Kings chapter 2, verse 11 and 12. And where do we know that from? From Elijah. And it came to pass, as they still went on and talked, and behold, there appeared a chariot of fire and horses of fire, and parted them both asunder. And Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven. And Elisha saw it, and he cried, my father, the chariots of Israel and the horsemen thereof. So we know in our kingdom we have regular chariots, and then we have those that have horses. And he saw him no more and took hold of his own clothes and ripped them in two pieces. Can you imagine you walking with somebody and all of a sudden you see it? And they come and swoop him up, and they ride off somewhere, and then all of a sudden they go into another dimension, and the sky just look normal again. You're like, well, where did he go? And you're like, I don't know. I can't answer. Some things we just can't answer. All right, we're going to keep moving. The protection of Israel. And the reason why I put this in here is because some people are truly afraid of what's going to happen because of the end time. But I have to reiterate what he did before, because he said, I'm the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. Yah's presence. The cloud visibly represented Yah's presence to the children of Israel. In addition, it represented to them Yah's leadership, as it was by means of the cloud that Yah showed them which way to go. Exodus chapter 14, verse 19 through 20. It says, and the angel of Yah, which went before the camp of Israel, removed and went behind them, and the pillar of the cloud went before their face and stood behind them. Watch. Now this is what they did. This is what happened. Guess why? This is just a picture that I found on the internet. These are Pharaoh's people. This is the separation between them. Why did it do that? Watch. And it came between the camps of the Egyptians and the camp of Israel, and it was a cloud and darkness to them, but it gave light by night to these, so that one came not near the other all night. So the Most High did this to protect the Israelites at night. While the Egyptian was coming to get them, he sent that pillar of fire down and separated the two. So the Egyptians is on this side and Israel on the other side. You see that? So if he can do that for them, I think we're going to be all right.
Yes, ma'am.
I think so. Watch what it says. And it came, we did that. Okay, so it says, driven by the angel. Yah was represented in the cloud by the angel of the Lord later in the day when the children of Israel received the Ten Commandments directly from Yah. And God gave him an interesting warning to Moshe for Israel regarding this angel. Watch. Exodus chapter 23. Watch what he said. He said, verse 20 through 22. He said, behold, I send an angel before thee to keep thee in the way and to bring thee into the place which I have prepared. Watch what he said. This is a picture of the children of Israel. This is the cloud, and they following it. Watch. He said, beware of him and obey his voice, and provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. That's another picture. Somebody dramatized it, but that's another picture. He said, I will protect you. Verse 22. But if thou shalt indeed obey his voice and do all that I speak, then I will be an enemy unto thy enemies and an adversary unto thy adversaries. So guess what? Wasn't no angel flying over the top of the children of Israel with no wings. Where was he at?
On the ground.
Where was he at?
Behind them. He's behind them. The fire was behind them. That was the angel.
And then when they were walking in the daytime, where was he at?
In the cloud at night.
He was in the cloud.
He was in the cloud at night.
He was protecting them as they were going through. Watch, in the wilderness, Nehemiah chapter 9. This is going to tell the story. Nehemiah chapter 9, verse 19. It says, yet thou in thy manifold mercies forsook them not in the wilderness. The pillar of the cloud departed not from them by day, to lead them in the way. So he was always there. He said, neither the pillar of fire by night to shew them light at the way wherein they should go. So the Most High got an army that's at his disposal to follow his commands, to take us and protect us and lead us anywhere we going once we finish this thing.
Wow.
Watch. Protection of Elijah. We almost finished. 2 Kings chapter 6, verse 16 through 18. It says, and when the servant of the man of Yah was risen early and gone forth, behold, a host compassed the city, both with horses and chariots. And his servant said unto him, Allah, my master, how shall we do? So let me set the stage. The Assyrian army was coming up against Israel. And they would meet in secret, and they would devise a plan. And then once they had their plan devised, they wanted to execute their plan. But what the Most High would do, he would whisper their plans into the ear of Elijah. And then Elisha would go tell Israel what the plan was. So every time that they would come upon them to try to surprise them, Israel wouldn't be there. And they did it a couple of times. And finally, the captain of the host said, okay, now wait a minute. We got a traitor in the group somewhere because somebody keep warning them that we coming and we doing this in secret. And the men said, that's Elisha that's doing that. And this is when the army came up against them while they were yet sleeping and surrounded the whole city. So when his servant got up and stretched and he went out to see, he didn't see none but chariots and horses. He said, oh, shoot, what we going to do now? Watch. And he answered, fear not, for they that be with us are more than they that be with them. And Elisha prayed and said, Yah, I pray thee, open his eyes that he may see. And the Most High opened the eyes of the young man. Why did he have to open the young man's eyes?
You can't see him.
Couldn't see him with the natural eye, could he?
No.
They was in a whole other dimension.
Mm-hmm.
Watch.
Mm-hmm.
And he saw, and behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire round about Elisha. So the Most High sent an army from the heavens to protect two men on the earth from a military army that was human. Do you all think we have anything to worry about?
Nothing. But he's going to do just what he did then for us because he had no respect for the person. So he got us covered.
Got us covered.
Got us covered. Yes.
He said that when they came down to him, Elisha prayed unto the Most High and said, smite this people, I pray thee, with blindness. And he smote them with blindness according to the word of Elisha.
Yes.
Any questions?
Sister Aina, we have a question in the chat. And that was earlier lesson. And it's from a guest that says, do these prophecies relate to the U.S. alone? I am in the U.K.
We're scattered all over the world. We are definitely scattered all over the world. But we believe that the royal house of David is in America. We believe that. And that Yehudah has to go first. And we know that we have Benjamin, the southern kingdom was made up of the tribe of Yehudah, the tribe of Benjamin, and half a tribe of Levi. But Yehudah has to go first. So it appears as though the way the prophecy is going is that the United States has to go down first. Because of that fact. And it doesn't minimize the fact that anybody is more important than the next person. It's just Yehudah has to go first. And the majority of us is we believe in the United States. Now, once we go or once we set the order or however he chooses to do it, everybody's coming that wants to come in the first wave. It doesn't separate anybody in terms of who's leaving or who's staying. It's up to you to be, when the transportation is made, it's up to you for you to be able to do that if you want to come the first time. Now, if you don't want to come the first time, and you want to stay around and try to convince your family or however, that's going to be up to you.
That's right.
But we believe that Yehudah has to go first because of the position that we're being put in and because the United States of America is deemed the most powerful country on the planet right now. So it wouldn't make sense to bring down the United Kingdom when the power is from America. You know what I'm saying? They look at America like the head all that's running everything. So we'll have to see, but I believe that that's the way it goes. Okay, by orders of Yah, we almost finished. Hold on just a minute. Let me see where I got this at. Okay. Okay, this is the tabernacle. I forgot to put the scripture in there. Hold on just a minute. Okay, on the day that the tabernacle was reared up, the cloud covered the tabernacle, namely the tent of the testimony. And even there was upon the tabernacle, as it were, the appearance of fire until the morning. And that's as close as I can get. And that's pretty powerful right there. Mm-hmm. And you got all the tents and all the tribes that are separated by birth and separated by tribes, or they're lined up around this tent tabernacle. Okay? Here's another picture of it. This is a little bit more dressed up. You know, I don't know where they got the tents from. I'm like, where did the tents come from? Do anybody know? I mean, I know when they left Egypt they had tents, but did anybody know where the tents came from?
There's an army.
Huh?
There's an army. It's garrison.
No, I'm talking about when they got to the wilderness. Where did the tents come from?
It's an army. When they came out of Egypt, they was an army. They weren't a nation yet, but they was an army.
Okay.
Because Moses was killing giants, Joshua was killing giants, Caleb, they was killing giants from Jump Street. They was an army.
Okay. But everybody?
Well, when you have an army, you also have a contingent that goes along with them to support the army. And so they had a battle formation. What you're looking at is a battle formation. And when they come to rest around the tabernacle, you got certain Judah in a certain place, Benjamin in a certain place, and they spray their tent. The same way when the Syrians came up. They came up to when Hezekiah looked over the wall, they had their tent spread out. Same thing.
Okay. I mean, but I'm saying you're talking about 1 million people with their own tents. I mean, they came out, I guess, because they were living in houses in Israel.
Right.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like they were living in tents in Israel. They were living in their own houses in Israel.
Well, that's tied to for them to go every year to do the Feast of Booths, to remind them that one time he was in the wilderness in tents.
I mean, I know, but I'm just saying I never knew where the tents came from. Where did they get them from?
Well, the same way they got the tabernacle they had in the wilderness. That was a tent.
Well, yeah, because they did have enough stuff to make that tabernacle, but I just thought it was strange because nobody ever says where it came from.
Right.
Yeah, I never saw in scriptures anything about saying where the tent came from, but they always said that the children of Israel, they picked their tent in the wilderness, What? But we never know where they came from, but they constantly said throughout the scriptures that whenever they got up, they moved to the next place, they always picked their tent.
Yeah, they was in battle formation. Mm-hmm. Judah was in front, well, the singers was in front, and Judah was behind the singers. The Levites went in front of them singing, and they had a formation that they had, a battle formation.
All right, well, this is Numbers chapter 9. I had to get that for you guys. It says, and on the day that the tabernacle was reared up, the cloud covered the tabernacle, namely the tent of the testimony. It says, and at even there was upon the tabernacle, as it were, appearance of fire until the morning. And that's what it looked like. So when it got dark outside, the fire came and went down the tabernacle to give that whole area some light.
Right.
It's amazing. Isn't that amazing? The provisions that Yah made.
I know.
And this was the daytime. So one was night and one was day. You got the sun, you got the cloud here by day, and here's the tent tabernacle, and all of the children of Israel were lined up according to their birthright and according to their tribal affiliation.
Yeah.
So here's one at night, one in the daytime. All right, watch. So it was always the cloud covered it by day and the appearance of fire by night. And when the cloud was taken up from the tabernacle, then after that the children of Israel journeyed. And in the place where the cloud abode, the children of Israel pitched their tent.
Right.
At the commandment of the Most High, the children of Israel journeyed, and at the commandment of the Most High, they pitched. As long as the cloud abode upon the tabernacle, they rested in their tents. That's how it was. At night, it was just like that.
Yeah.
And guess what? We getting ready to do this one more again. I wonder when we get out there, will we make another tabernacle?
We should do it anyway. Like everybody plan, why don't we plan a date and everybody pick a place and we do it? That would be fun.
Well, we have a feast day like that. That's what the Feast of Booths is all about. You're supposed to do it during the Feast of Booths.
Right, but we don't ever do it.
Well, most of us can't get off work for that, but by the time we do the rest of the feast days, we don't have no more sick time to get off to be able to do that. I mean, I'm just going to be honest. Most of us don't have the time off work to be able to do it. Some people do it, though, and they spend those days in the booth, and they get together as a group, and they spend those days in the group as a memorial.
How long you got to stay in them?
I think it's 7 days in it, Brother Leonard.
7 days.
7 days.
Days.
So should we be getting tents?
Say again?
Should we be getting tents?
For the high holy day?
Supposed to go in the woods and get tree branch and make a booth.
All right.
Say that again?
They didn't have tree branches.
Go out in the wilderness and get tree limbs, and you're supposed to make a makeshift tent and sleep in that.
Them tents right there look well made, like some stuff they bought from the campus store.
Yeah,
Brother Leonard, I don't think they had no tree limbs making no tents.
Yeah, read it. They get branches. Right. And so the reason for it is humility. The reason
they had tent makers back then. That's what Paul was. Paul, they had people that made tents.
Unless the person that drew the picture just put a tent on it, like they went to the campus store and bought some stuff.
They did. Watch, in verse 19 it said, and when the cloud tarried long upon the tabernacle many days, then the children of Israel kept the charge of the Most High and journeyed not. And so it was, when the cloud was a few days upon the tabernacle, according to the commandments of the Most High, they abode in their tents, and according to the commandment of the Most High, they journeyed. And so it was when the cloud rose even on morning, and the cloud was taken up in the morning, then they journeyed. Whether it was by day, whether it was just a day, or by night that the cloud was taken up, they journeyed. Or whether it was 2 days, or a month, or a year that the cloud tarried upon the tabernacle, remaining thereon, the children of Israel abode in their tents and journeyed not. But when it was taken up, they journeyed. So you can imagine, it says, at the commandment of the Most High, they rested in their tent, and at the commandment of the Most High, they journeyed. And they kept the charge of the Most High at the commandment of the Most High by the hand of Moshe. All right, so then we're going to get into the final invasion. We'll do that next weekend because I want to bring that out so that everybody will know what that's going to be about, because it's going to be a final invasion, and it's going to be real ugly, and that's what we got to get ready for, because even though we try to get away from the wilderness, we're going back to the same spot. He told us we was going to be in the bushes. So it ain't like we're going to go to, like the Muslims got the air-conditioned tents and the bathrooms and all that.
Yeah. So maybe then when we're going back to the wilderness, and maybe that's when y'all maybe telling us to pitch our tent then. Like I said, the Feast of Booths.
Yeah, because guess what? When the boats come, they're supposed to have everything on there that we need. So maybe they will provide the things that we need in terms of tents and stuff, because most of us don't have all that. We just don't have that this time.
Yeah.
Well,
inspiring us to do that in our land of captivity either.
Say that again?
I said, I don't think that he's inspiring us to keep that. Go ahead.
It said the Bible says they spoiled the Egyptians. So that's where they got their kids from, when they spoiled the Egyptians.
Right. Or maybe they'll give us some when we leave here, or wherever we leave from. Maybe they'll give us sense. Maybe they will believe that this is not real to the point where they laugh us up out of here and give us all the things that we need because they think that we're going to the wilderness to die.
Yeah.
But they don't believe this. They don't.
Right. They don't.
They don't believe that we're the Israelites. They don't believe that Yah is coming to spare us. They don't believe any of this. So maybe they'll give us the things that we need just to get rid of us, and send us off. So they think we're gonna perish in the woods.
Right. Because they don't hold themselves accountable. So of course they're not going to believe. No.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Seeing that, the first Exodus was, thousands of years ago and the technology didn't exist, that the Most High would make provision for us in the fact that if we're going back there, because in the scripture where he says, when you hear the call, go. Don't go back in your house. Don't go looking for nothing.
Right.
Just go. So wouldn't he be able to provide for us for whatever it is that we need, change of clothing, women's sanitary products? I mean, because I thought about that. I'm like, okay, even if I had a bag packed, but when the call came, me and my children go so we can just get out of here and be obedient, that he would provide, especially for the things that I would need.
Right.
So I can't see us being in a primitive situation when, by today's standards, we don't necessarily have to be. That he would provide, because like Brother Leonard brought up before, that there is all this housing and it's empty. Who's to say that our tent, quote-unquote, situation wouldn't be that temporary housing that's all on the west coast of Africa? You wanted these houses and stuff that are built, because when he mentioned it, I went and I looked it up, and they have this huge development that looks like apartments and stuff. Excuse me.
Let me try to answer that if you don't mind. Yes, didn't the Almighty say that the ships of Chariots was going to have provisions for us? You understand that we won't have to carry anything. You understand? And one other thing here too is that we're going into the wilderness first, so that he can purge out all the rebels. Then we're going to go under the rod. But when we go into Jerusalem, there's going to be housing that they have already established. You understand? If I'm not mistaken, it's read somewhere that there's going to be so many people that go back into that Jerusalem, it's not going to be enough housing for us. And then we were going to build up the waste places in Jerusalem.
And in the route off of what he said as well is that when you make that statement that we don't go back to the house, that's if you're in Judea. But as far as us leaving our countries, that's going to be organized when we leave. You know what I believe. We ain't going to be running out of nowhere. We're going into the wilderness. Now, we might be running into the wilderness, but when we leave, we will have the provisions that we need, and you can have a bag packed, because this has to be organized. You're talking about millions of people leaving.
Yeah,
even America, if they said Trump said tomorrow, I want to meet with the nation of Yehudah. I want to sit down and discuss how we can establish your exit strategy. We have come together, and our committee has come together, and we decided that your organization is the best one we can use to establish all of this. This has to be organized. It's going to have to be set out. There's going to have to keep a record of who's leaving and who's staying. It's going to have to be a record of how many people are going. The transportation is going to be major. But they said, hold on. phone on mute? I don't want to have to do it. Okay, I think we got it. But, yeah, so, I mean, as we know these things are getting ready to happen, we have to be able to understand that this is going to be very well organized. It's not going to be a major thing where, like you said, we running up out of here and try. No, it's going to be organized.
Right. It said
Shalom, everyone. Hello, everyone. Shalom. I'd like to chime in if you don't mind.
Sure. Who is this?
This is Sister Wendy in Detroit.
Hi. Your phone is loud. Do you have?
I turned down the speaker. I turned it down. I don't know why it's so loud because I got you real low.
Okay, go ahead.
I turned down a little more. Mm-hmm. But one thing I wanted to say is I do believe that the Creator is the Creator all by himself. And he knows how to get the people out of the land he wants them out of. And I was listening to the young lady who was talking about being on your menstrual cycle and what have you, and being in the wilderness, because the Most High is the only Most High there is. I feel like if he say for those periods to cease, while women who are going through that in their life at that point in time, if he will for that period to cease, it will cease while you're there in that wilderness. And so I was making a comment earlier about tents. I do believe when the children of Israel left Egypt in the Old Testament, I do believe at that point in time it was a tent was a common thing for people to have in their home. Right. It was just the way people lived. And people, once they got the word to go, they got what they could get and left. And so, because Pharaoh wanted them out of there in a hurry. He wanted them to get out of Egypt. And so, I just feel that I don't put no confidence in what Trump would do. This will all be the Most High's doing. He knows how he would have us believe. And I feel like it's all in his hands.
All right. We thank you for your comment. And then also, in the future, if you can try to find another phone to call in on, because it is extremely loud. I mean, it is. I appreciate you turning it down, but we're going to have to find another method because it's very, very loud. Okay, sis, so anybody else with any questions before we move forward? Anybody else?
Yeah, I just wanted to say about when you was talking about Elijah, he prayed for his servant to open his eyes up. Mm-hmm. Well, that's the same thing when the Bible says, and he lifted up his eyes. That means he's able to see other dimensions. Like when Daniel lifted up his eyes and he saw the angel. It's the same thing.
Right. I mean, we're dealing with something that's supernatural. We have to understand that, and he will make provisions for us and do what he needs to do so that we can get there. Because the objective is to get there. I mean, we really are going to have to get there, So we'll definitely get there and do the things that we need to do. He's going to make provisions. We're going to have food, shelter, and clothing. And if he did it once, he'll do it again.
He'll do it again.
And we don't have to be fearful or afraid. And you know what I'm saying? And like she said, when the children of Israel went the first time, their clothes didn't even get old. Their shoes never got old. And they was in there for 40 years. So we talking about Yah.
Right.
And he will make provisions for you, but that's where trust come in, and we have to trust him.
Right.
We have to trust him.
And don't complain.
You better believe it. Now, that's the biggest thing right there. If you complain, you're in trouble. Because he's gonna start cutting away and shedding away a whole lot of stuff because he's not going to tolerate it.
Right.
And there will be a final invasion. So next week we're going to get into the final invasion and what's going to happen and how they're going to try to fight against y'all. All this is biblical.
Right.
They're getting prepared to fight against the Most High Yah. And that's when you know that these other nations that are among us are those who are of the other gods. Because who has enough sense to believe they can fight against Yah?
They'd be just like Nimrod.
So I just wanted to share that with you. And what I'm going to do now is I am going to cut off the recording. If you guys want to hang around and we can continue to discuss, we thank you all for joining us for this part of the session. We look forward to you all joining us again tomorrow, which is Sunday, on the Blog Talk Radio Show at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the number for that is 718-664-9551.